So let's go back to, you were talking about like the Kickstarter community as well as, making it more than just being a storefront. How much of a community did you guys have built up, across social media, across Twitter and Facebook and DeviantArt and other places before you actually launched the campaign?
If we break down the different groups, so I mean, I have about sort of 600 odd Facebook friends, but yeah, having been able to see the trickle through from who's been backing our project, I wouldn't necessarily say that many of them have stepped forward to assist me. Yeah, directly. I mean, I know a lot of people say, well, if you have a lot of Facebook friends, they will pay for your project to happen. I'm not sure if there's I think it depends on the person. I think it depends on just how friendly you are with your Facebook friends to some extent, because to say that there are people out there who rely on their friends on Facebook to get their projects funded, I think that to some extent for a large majority of projects, I think that really belittles their own efforts. We went, the initial push. I remember when we first launched it, I was doing a big push, and I was up day and night trying to make it work, trying to make it happen. And as it happens, we managed to meet target in 2 days, so we did something right. But what I would say is I think it's important to build up an early impetus with a project. I remember, I was mercilessly spamming the link the second we launched it, as I'm sure pretty much anyone running a Kickstarter would. I was linking to my friends, I was linking to IRC channels, I was linking to forums. I went all over the place. Speaking personally, I had about somewhere in the region of 600-700 Facebook friends, about 350 Twitter followers. And Adam, our artist, he has somewhere in the region of 6,000 followers on DeviantArt. All you need to do is take a look at his artwork, and you'll see that what he does is absolutely phenomenal. At the same time, though, I don't know just how common an experience this is, but speaking with a few friends of our project, conversion between DeviantArt and Kickstarter, or DeviantArt and Indiegogo, and all of this seems to be incredibly low. Because DeviantArt, to some extent, you've got a lot of people there who are real admirers of artwork, but they'd never pay for it. That's the benefit of DeviantArt. You get to be on there, you get to see all this artwork for free. It's a brilliant, DeviantArt is a brilliant community, and it really fosters the artistic spirit. But a lot of experience from that perspective has been that people who are on DeviantArt and so on don't necessarily convert their fandom to financial input. I mean, just looking at, I managed to pull up the stats in front of me. I mean, we've currently got at this stage 568 backers, and of that total, 20 are DeviantArt followers. And I'm fairly certain that a lot of those people have come from other people's DeviantArts, not necessarily from Adam's. So if you're looking at conversion rate between the 6,000 followers he has and the 20 that we have, that's a very low conversion rate. By contrast, if you then compare that with Facebook or Twitter or anything like that, or any community where you are an active participant in, I'm a member of the Halo fan community, big Halo fan, and because I'm an active participant on there, I put a link on there, and I know a lot of my friends from that community have assisted us. So I'm very it's very clear that I've got friends from that end, and that they've been very kind to help me, so that's great. But it's tricky trying to gauge just how effective and just how big a conversion you're going to have from communities that you're a member of. Facebook, it was important early on. We managed to raise about, I think it was somewhere in the region of $1,500 by the time the night was out and I had to rest. When I woke up, we were on $2,500, and by the end of the day, we were on $6,000. So I know for a fact that a lot of that was because very soon after we had begun our campaign then became a staff pick. It really ballooned because then the Kickstarter community was aware of it, and they were sharing it, and they were going onto the site and they'd see, okay, staff pick of the day, Telikos Protocol. And looking at, and I'll pull up my stats. As things stand right now, we have 36% from external sources, including people talking with each other and so on, and 64% has come from Kickstarter. So nearly 2/3 of our funding has actually come from within the Kickstarter community, not from external sources, which I think is quite an interesting and quite a telling thing. You do get projects like Ouya and stuff like that where you suddenly get news sites really sort of latching onto these things and promoting these things, but not every project is Ouya. Not every project is necessarily that newsworthy. As things stand, as far as I'm aware, only one news site or one major comics news site has actually decided to run a story on us, bleedingcool.com, and the immediate impact, and that immediate impact from that was that we suddenly had a boost in interest, and next thing you know, we had about 40 odd backs. 40 people decided to pledge for us. So that was immediate. That the second it was on there, people were taking notice, and it propagated that way. But beyond that, it's mostly been people talking with each other, fans of the project and so on, talking to their friends and getting them to back us that way, through Facebook, through Twitter, through internet forums we're members of, or alternatively through Kickstarter.
Okay, so you've mentioned like these other sites, the internet forums, the was it Halo fan films?
It's not so much Halo fan films, but an actual Halo video game fan community, Halo.org. They're a very long-standing and committed fan group. But those guys, they support us. I mean, we've had a few other backers from other communities, but they actually form a very small majority, and those mainly came during that opening phase, which I think was very important in pushing us for a staff pick. We only became a staff pick after we'd managed a big impetus at the very start, and that came solely through us pushing it ourselves.
And did you find that once they had a different staff pick, I mean, obviously your project remains in the list of staff picks, but did you find that the number of backers that was bringing dropped off after you became, the old staff pick, or did it have much of a residual effect?
Once we broke our initial target, we actually then had a fairly consistent rise in terms of pledges. And I think that's only just starting to tail off. We've recently managed to work out a solution to allow ourselves to have hardback editions. We kind of wrote ourselves into a corner with that one, because again, as I said before, we weren't anticipating quite the level of popularity that we had. And within the first day, we'd sold out of hardback copies of the book, near enough. So we've only just managed to sort out something with that. So as a result, we've seen a recent boost in terms of pledges and so on. But I think it's starting to level off a little bit now. It might be suffering a second mini lull, but it's been relatively consistent. I know that we're not on the comics page directly very often now. We were on there for nearly a solid week, right next to Penny Arcade, which was a nice little place to be in. I'm not sure exactly where we are at now, but I think there's been a slight reduction. But I think once you reach a certain point. Oh, actually, I've just looked at Popular this week, and we're number one on there next to Penny Arcade, so that's great. But so obviously that's going to be a way that people are going to find us. But I think that as far as our way of getting into the community and everything else goes, once you reach a certain point, people are talking about you, people are spreading the word that way.
You really get that network effect, I guess.
Yeah, and it just acts like a ripple. Everything rolls out. So I wouldn't necessarily say that losing our place as a staff pick has had a negative impact, because as you can see, we're still on there for the popular list. Let's just bring up the statistics and we can take a look to see exactly how that impacts. I'm just looking at the stats right now, just because I can.